so I have 7 pens inked up. And what I'm going to do since I'm trying to fill everything on one page, I'm going to condense my swatching. I have this glass teaspoon. I'm just going to dip the handle into the ink and do a quick swatch there. This first pen is my TWSBI Eco in white and rose gold detailing. And this is currently inked with Diatramentis Aubergine. This is in an EF nib, one of my favorite pens. In fact, all the pens that I have here are truly some of my favorites. And I got this ink from a colleague of mine, Christy. So hello, Christy. Thank you so much. She shared an ink vial of Diatramentis Aubergine, which is one of her favorites. So I have this inked in Diatramentis Aubergine. Let's do a quick ink swatch. Okay, I haven't tested this, but hopefully I'll get all 7. I'll get all 7 swatches on this page. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. I think we did it. Okay, there's a cloud. This is D. And it's currently inked with TWSBI Eco White. And it's in an extra fine nib. And so beautiful. I love the sound of the feedback with this EF nib. One of my favorites. Okay, next up, I actually don't have an ink swatch for this one because the tricky thing is, actually, why don't I do this? This ink, or this pen, is the Pilot Custom 823 in a fine nib. I had it previously inked with Diatramentis Aubergine, but then I emptied it and then I refilled it without cleaning the pen. So if that's a major faux pas, like a no-no, please tell me. I know that this is hard to clean, and so I thought, you know, I'll fill it with a similarly kind of like a darker ink, and then eventually I'll commit to the same ink for this pen. But anyway, so I had it in aubergine, and then I like dumped the aubergine in here, and then I filled it with this ink. This is Herbon's Terre des Feux. I definitely need to learn how to pronounce French words a little bit, but this is a new ink of mine that I got actually in person at Push Pull. If you are in Seattle, you know that we don't have a lot of fountain pen stores to be able to go visit, try out pens and inks. But Push Pull, it's this beautiful, delightful little art shop in downtown Ballard, which is a neighborhood in Seattle, and they have a selection of J. Arbonne inks and Colorverse, and I think that's it. Yeah, kind of a limited, and Ferris wheel press inks. So anyway, I then inked this pen with Terre des Feux. So it's kind of purple, but then it's also not quite this ink color as well. So why don't I do this ink and pen combination. This is inked in Terre des Feux. This is my TWSBI Eco Black, and this is in a fine nib. Oh, this is also an EF nib, extra fine. I'm telling you, I've been loving my extra fine nibs. Okay. I love this ink. I love it so much. It's now quickly become one of my favorites, current or perennial favorites. I'm not quite sure yet, but I am obsessed with this ink. I'm obsessed with it because it's muted, it's got some beautiful shading, and it's got a bit of like that rosy brown color that I absolutely adore. I actually have another ink here that looks very similar to this, and it's almost indistinguishable in my pens. Let's see, this is... Oops, Eco Black, also in an EF nib. I think it's also very fitting that I chose to make these little clouds with little raindrops. There we go. Truly, truly one of my favorite pen and ink combinations, and I don't know if I'm ever going to change the combination. I love it so much. EF nibs. I'm just going to verify really quick that this is also an EF. Yep, it's also EF. I didn't realize they were both extra fine. Okay, so then this is the one that straddles both inks, and I'm just going to write it here. This is my Pilot. The Pilot Custom 823 is so soft. It's so like polished. It doesn't have the sort of feedback that the TWSBI pens have. It doesn't have the sort of feedback that Sailors are known for. It's very polished. But anyway, I don't know if you could see, it looks slightly darker than the TWSBI Eco writing sample, but because I had some remnants of aubergine. But I like that. I really like browns with a little bit of purple, like Pilot Iroshizuku Tsukushi. Okay, this next ink is, oh yes, this next ink. So at Push Pull, I bought two inks. I got J. Urban's Terre de Few, and based on some of your recommendations, or actually because of Snarky Wordsworth, I got Spadina Rose. In my previous video, I said Spadina, and a viewer lovingly told me that it's Spadina. So I have Ferris Wheel Press Spadina Rose, and I am not regretting this purchase. I love this ink so much. I think I have found my inks. And you're going to see how similar this ink is to Terre de Few. Oh my word. I love this ink so much. And I have Spadina Rose inked in my TWSBI Mini in black. And this is in a fine nib. Let's see. I love the sound of the feedback that these TWSBIs give. I love it so much. Oh, well, especially on this paper, you can really see the difference. in my traveler's notebook and my Midori paper, for some reason I get confused. I can't tell the difference sometimes. Let me see if I could find it. Where is it? Yeah, so I had it tested here. So this is Spadina Rose, and this is Terre de Feu. So similar. And I don't even know if I even have it switched. I might even have it switched here. No, it's so interesting because it looks different here. Do I have it switched? Looks more brown, but then it looks different here. Anyway, it's so confusing, but you can really tell the difference here. I digress. Okay. All right, so that is my TWSBI Mini Black. Now I have my TWSBI Mini in white and rose gold. This is one of my favorite pens. And I have this inked with Ferris Wheel Press Oyster Hour. I got this ink after an ink swatch or an ink swap that I did with Lorelei. Hello, Lorelei. And I loved the ink so much that I bought a bottle of it. Oops. Okay. You'll have to let me know what you think about this new ink swatch process. Do you miss my circular cups? Would you like me to bring those back? Or do you like this new format? Okay. Makes the cleanup a little easier too. Okay. This is oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, this is my TWSBI. Oops, it's not an eco. Okay. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, I've got two more. I think I have enough space. All right, y'all. This is the love of my life. This is the Sailor Pro Gear in Every Rose Has Its Thorn. It's in rose gold detail finish, or the detailing is rose gold. The nib is also rose gold, 21 karat, hard, medium, fine. I love this pen. I was at Oblation Papers in Portland, Oregon, and I was perusing their pens, and in the corner of their pen storage, they had, or their display case, they had a small section of pre-loved pens. I saw this and I just wanted to try a dip test. I got it dip tested in J. Herbin's L'Armée de Cassis, and even Lisa, the beautiful person who was helping me, said that she believes that pens choose their owners. And I truly felt like I had that Harry Potter wand moment where I felt like this pen chose me. I was dip testing it and I basically wrote on the entire page. And the pen was basically asking me to take them home. And it was pre-loved, and so the price was a lot more affordable than if I were to buy it brand new. And it was a little bit of an investment, of a financial investment, but I have to tell you that I love this pen. If I had to pick only five pens out of my collection, this would be in my top two. It would be in my top two. I wouldn't leave this pen. This is absolutely the pen that gives me so much joy when I write. And Lisa, shout out to Lisa, she had dip tested it just arbitrarily with this ink. And I don't typically like pink purpley inks in general, but the combination of the two, the beauty of this pen with the pink, the muted pink, had me falling in love. So this is my pen that I absolutely adore. In fact, I feel like I want to name this beauty, and I don't have a name yet, but that's how much I love this pen. I don't name things. I don't name inanimate objects generally, but this pen is asking to be named, and I have adopted this pen, and I love this pen so much. An ode to every rose has its thorn, Sailor Pro Gear. Anyway, this is inked with L'Armée de Cassis. Excuse my French. I will learn how to pronounce these. And it was this pen and ink combination that got me to fall in love with J. Herbin inks. I am in love. I think they have a beautiful muted quality to them. They're not super saturated, like a lot of the Pilot Iroshizuku inks. They're not like your, super saturated, dark, vibrant inks. They have a soft muted quality to them, and this ink is no exception. After I finish this bottle, I'm going to get myself a full bottle because I think these two are going to be eternally paired. I can't deny that because I love it so much. And I don't know how this pen is normally supposed to write because it is pre-loved. It feels like a very juicy, wet writer. And I love it even more because it had a history. It was owned and used by someone else and lovingly written with. And so I love the fact that I get to carry on that tradition, and that this is truly going to be like a lifelong companion of mine. I love this pen so much. Okay, this is J. Okay, I'm not even going to talk because I want you to hear the feedback. Oh my gosh, I'm in love. So this is my love, and hands down my favorite. It's a beloved piece. Okay, so that is my favorite. And then I have another one of sentimental value. This is a Sailor Pro Gear that I received, a Pro Gear Slim that I received from my dear friend Taryn. And I believe that I have this inked with an ink that I think is just going to be eternally in this pen. This is a medium fine. It doesn't say hard medium fine like my Sailor Pro Gear, but this is also a 21 karat nib. I believe it's Kirisame. And I have it inked with, I'm actually going to have to take it out of the cartridge. It's inked with Sailor Shikiori Yozakura. Taryn also gave me a box of Sailor Shikiori cartridges, and I don't have this in a bottle. So let me see if I could get a sample of this. Okay. Yozakura is the name. Okay. Look how beautiful that is. I believe that this is like the perfect ink to accompany this pen. It's absolutely gorgeous. as I look at all of these inks, I wonder why didn't I have this inked for February? They're all romantic pinky purple hues, except for Oyster Hour, but they're just so beautiful together. I am so happy. I don't know, right now I could be so happy having these inked in these pens for the rest of the year is how I feel. I'm that much in love. Okay, this is, and is it within frame? It is, okay. And these days, I like to post my pens. I used to not like to post my pens, but these days I have been. And I've noticed this is a much finer writer than the Sailor Pro Gear. And I don't know if it's just maybe the previous owner ended up kind of customizing the nib so it became like more of a juicy writer, but this is definitely a finer, writes a finer line. And I even had it previously inked in L'Armée de Cassis, and it wrote very fine. It was a drier writer. So I definitely prefer this ink in this pen. And I love this ink, Yozakura, with this current pen. So this is, I think it is Kirisame. If it is not, I'll correct it on screen. Okay, this is a medium fine. I love you, Taryn. I love this pen. So beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with this spread here. So this is, I guess, one of the wonders about being able to visit a store in person is it narrows down the selection of inks. Push-pull, I'll have their information in the description box below, especially for you Seattleites. But they only have a few selection of inks. They had a few Airbon, a few Ferris wheel press, and some Colorverse inks as well, and that was it. And from that selection, I decided to try out this ink, and luckily they had Spadina Rose, so I got this ink as well. I am so pleased. Christy, I love the aubergine. In the cloud ink swatch, you could see that there is some slight sheening, almost like a golden sheen. Oh, that kind of reminds me of Lami's black or dark lilac, just thinking about it, because I know that the original 2016 formulation had like a dark purple with a golden sheen. This is like a kind of like a deep copper gold sheen here. It's not a super sheener, but you can see it even a little bit in the EF writing sample, the extra fine writing sample. That is gorgeous. It's probably the most saturated out of all of them. Second most saturated would be J. Herbon's L'Armée de Cassis. I so much love J. Herbon's Terre des Feux. It's beautiful. If I had this ink in my possession when I was doing the Teranishi Opera Rose ink comparison video, this would have been there. Also, Spadina Rose would have been there as well. It would have been a nice comparison. So I think the ink qualities that really stand out to me are the fact that they're kind of like your shading inks. They're all pretty muted except for Diatramentis Aubergine. That is a saturated ink with a little bit of sheen. But these inks here are my favorites. And I think the reason why I am in love with these inks right now is because of the planner that I am in right now. I'm using mostly Midori paper. This is MD Cream paper. And in light of my no online stationery buy, I'm using everything that I currently have in my collection, and this is a blank weekly horizontal layout. and I've been using this as my planner because the Nolte weekly planner that I have been using is no longer available on Amazon. They don't have one available for 2024. So I've been using my Traveler's Company notebooks, and I am actually in love, and I'm using these gigantic paper clips as like paper as bookmarks. So anyway, I'll probably do like a planner update in a future video, but because I have been having to write a lot more small, like just a lot smaller in each of these sections here, it's required me to write with extra fine and fine nibs. And there's something so romantic and understated and just beautiful with these subtler, more muted inks. And look at this ink swatch down here. I mean, all of them. And I'm actually quite pleased with this impromptu cloud ink swatch that I decided to do because especially with these muted inks, it gives it that sort of like cumulus cotton ball sort of look, and I am in love. So anyway, this is my March currently inked. I hope you enjoyed this video. I felt really chatty, and I think it's honestly because I got to talk about my love. This is just I love it so much. It's a pen that I never expected I would have. The price point was very high, and just by happenstance, being in that store, happening to look in that tiny little section of pre-loved pens, I came upon this pen, and the pen chose me is all I have to say. But honestly, this pen and meeting this pen is really the catalyst that got me to fall in love with the fountain pen hobby once again. I am absolutely in love. So here are some close-ups. I've changed the orientation of my tabletop as well. So the sun is coming, the light source is coming from the left side of the screen, and I hope it really accentuates the ink properties. Yozakura, the ink swatch is still drying, but you can really see in the dry sections how it shades and just a sort of pooling. It's just so beautiful. I'm in love. Every ink I am in love with. Christy, thank you again for this ink swatch. It is so beautiful, and I love it in my TWSBI. I actually preferred it in my TWSBI over the Pilot Custom 823 for some reason. I don't know why, but that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.